I shall grant you that wish. Out of your hatred and despair, I shall make my own wish. And that wish shall become a curse upon your family's wicked souls.
You'll grant my wish then, Morgana?
Yes, absolutely. Tell me what it is you want, my poor little darling.
Michelle!
Let your contempt flow free. Give me the names of those you want cursed.
I want you to protect her.
Excuse me.
If they find her, she could be accused of abetting a witch and executed as well. So please, use your power to keep her safe. You said you would grant my wish, did you not?
That was not the wish I was hoping for.
I know, but that's the wish I want you to grant. Morgana!
Then offer me something in return. Such a disappointing wish will require a sacrifice. Step beyond that door, my dear, and witness ultimate despair.
That was my plan anyway. So long as I am considered a heretic and marked for death, my being alive puts Giselle in danger.
Ooh. Indeed it does. Yet here you are, shaking like a scared little child.
Of course I'm scared. There isn't a single person who doesn't fear death. Please keep her safe. You're the only one who can help me, Morgana.
You have my word. From this moment, I vow to protect her life.
Thank you. Giselle, please hear me out, Giselle. I never thought anything good would become of my life. I never thought I would find anyone who truly understood me, who would be happy to have my love. And for that, I hated the world. I was in constant torment, living in the shadows. But then, a single ray of light shone down on me.
Michelle?
You, Giselle. You delivered me from the darkness. I'm scared, Giselle. I'm terrified. I used to think my life was meaningless. That it didn't matter if I lived or died. But now, I can't stop shaking.
That's perfectly normal. I'm scared to death too, but
what scares me most is losing you.
Michelle.
So please, allow me to repay you. I said I would do anything for you, so let me do this. I haven't given you anything. I haven't done anything for you. So give me one final chance.
Michelle! What are you doing? Get back in here, Michelle! What? Why? The door! I can't open it! Michelle! Michelle! What did you do to the door? Come on, get back in here!
I guess you really can perform miracles, Morgana.
I don't want to lose you either!
I know that by doing this, I will bring you pain, Giselle. But I can't make you happy, no matter how hard I try. And I realize that now.
Say something, Michelle! You're out there, aren't you? Please don't do anything rash! They're going to kill you if you're out there!
Giselle, the witch told me.
What?
That she would ensure your safety.
Michelle, she isn't real. There is no witch talking to you. It's all in your head. A figment of your imagination created to alleviate your loneliness.
Rest assured, she does not lie.
Michelle!
I pray that someday she will be able to get past this, to move on with her life. She needs to know that that's what I want. I have to find the right words. I'm pathetic. My voice is too shaky. Please listen. You are a wonderful woman, Giselle. Spirited, true to yourself, deeply sympathetic. You are not to blame for how difficult your life has been. Most of the fault lies with me. And a bit of bad fortune. But that's all behind you now. Once this is over, you can start anew.
What are you talking about?
So, survive. Live a good, fulfilling life. Move past this. Live your life. And always love your family. I know you can do it. That is my wish for you.
No, I don't want that. I want to be with you. No one else but you.
I don't want to let you die. There he is. Death to the heretic. Death to the heretic. Death to the heretic.
Get back in here, Michelle. Open the door. If my choice is to live on without you, I'd rather...
Your scars will heal. You'll find a nice man and have a wonderful family.
Why?
Because you have a good family. You have a mother and a sister who love you. If you were to be executed here with me, you would be marked as a heretic as well, and your family would be condemned. I don't want anyone else to suffer that kind of disgrace. But I can't tell you any of that, because I don't want you looking into why I am a heretic. So this is where we part ways, Giselle. Thank you, Giselle, for bringing light to my world.
Don't say that!
The year we shared together and the month since our relationship blossomed have been the brightest days of my life. But if there is a next life, I hope you don't mind if I pray that we're able to meet again. And this time, that we can find each other once more in another world, in a body that better suits me.
Michelle!
Michelle. I had thought I was prepared. That I was doing something good. Something I could be proud of. That I would give my life for her with head held high. But it wasn't long before I realized what the witch had meant. What she had warned me about. When she had said, ultimate despair waited beyond this door. It is our holy duty as knights of the church to deliver punishment onto the heathen who made a pact with the devil. You are sentenced to death. your body to be hanged upon the cross for 3 days and 3 nights, wherein your unholy flesh shall be purified by the fires of heaven.
Why? What are you doing here? I stared up at the night, eyes wide, for the voice from within the helm. Didier belonged to my elder brother.
You shall now be executed. Do you have any final words?
I knew well enough that Mother was not in her right mind, and while her refusal to accept me had hurt, at the same time, I had somewhat expected it. It made sense to me. In her madness, Mother had declared me a heretic and reported me to the church. But this... But Didier...
Men wield swords and fight against dangerous enemies, and they do so to protect the weak, women and children. I am here to protect you and your mother.
What are you doing here? Why are you pointing your sword at me? Are you smiling behind that cold steel helm? Frowning? Or staring expressionlessly?
Though your transformation was too much for Mother and Father to accept, with enough time, everything will go back to the way it was before, just like it did for myself and George. None of this is your fault. It was all unfortunate timing.
You said that it would all go back to normal eventually. Can I trust that even if the whole world says I'm cursed, that you'll always be on my side? That you'll always be my brothers? Can I put my trust in you once more? Didier, Georges.
You absolutely can, Michel. I swear to God on high.
Did your vow have any meaning at all? I spent years here, in this dark house, waiting, believing you would come through for me. So why? Why are you standing there, a half-dozen knights at your back, saying I am to be executed? Why? D. Do not cry. Don't you dare cry, Michel. You're standing here in front of this door as a man protecting the woman he loves. So you mustn't cry. Who is it you're sentencing to death? Michel Boulanger, or...
A demon child, naturally. Or a witch, perhaps.
But why? You remember, Didier never did acknowledge Michel as his brother. Only Georges did. If I'm not an angel sent from heaven, or a demon child, then what am I? What on earth am I? What are you? You're
a Boulanger. You're our family, and that's all there is to it. We were brothers. Our familial bonds have long since been severed, cursed witch. Now I see, Giselle, this world never had a place for me. I was never welcome here. Kill him! So many blades pierced my flesh. Didier's sword in my chest, lances in my arms and shoulders, arrows in both of my legs. I could hardly even tell what hurt anymore. But the pain from within was much clearer. My heart cracked audibly before shattering completely. Don't cry. Do not cry. Tears will only make me more pitiful. So don't you cry, Michelle. Don't cry. Didier. When I was younger, I idolized you. Those broad shoulders, muscular arms, gentle eyes. Everything you said. Your simple but pure desire to become a knight. I thought if I could be like you, then I could be proud of who I was. Though that may have faded somewhat after being locked away for so long, my adoration for you never went away. I thought you, of everyone, would accept me for who I am. And I thought you would celebrate my relationship with Giselle. That you would put those big hands on my shoulders. A smile on your face. And say, I am happy for you. That you would welcome her into the family. We could go on outings together on cloudy days. Maybe she could make something for us. She's a pretty good cook after all. Georges would rifle through the basket before lunch. And Didier would scold him. I would be there watching. A proud smile on my face. As unlikely, as out of reach as I knew it was. I still dreamed of a life like that. I had the faintest hope. When we saw each other again, that dream might come true. I put my faith in you. forgot how beautiful that was. And so, my life came to an end. But that wasn't the end of the story. I don't know if what comes next could be called my story, but memories of these events linger in my soul. After being pierced by Didier's blade, I found myself looking down upon my own corpse. How could I have ever imagined that I would be made to witness my own misery, even in death? I watched as my eldest brother dragged me to the place of my crucifixion, and my soul, evidently still bound to my flesh, was dragged along with it, against my will, down to the nearby village.
The knights! The knights have returned from their holy quest! Oh, how we've awaited your arrival! How glorious it is to see you!
Waiting for us there was a cluster of villagers. A large cross lay on the ground in the center of the square. Holding torches, they formed a crowd around the knights, several of them familiar faces. The men who had come to ransack the mansion were standing there, staring at my body in awe.
Ah, the Lord's judgment has been delivered unto the witch of the cursed mansion by his holy servants. No longer shall we live in fear of the curse befalling us. Eternal peace is assured. We have assembled all the tools you need to execute your divine mission. A cross befitting of such a heinous sinner. That witch threatened to curse us, sullied our pure ears with its blasphemy.
I had done no such thing. I hadn't cursed anyone. I had merely been defending myself. They had been armed and outnumbered me, so I had said what was necessary to chase them off.
Our poor harvest and our suffering at the hands of the greedy Lord were all the work of the witch.
Why then were they acting like I was at fault? Why was I the sinner? And why did I need to be judged? My soul trembled at the overwhelming fervor consuming the crowd, their zealous desire to see judgment cast. So I prayed. I asked God to grant me the smallest of miracles, to let my voice reach my brother who carried my body. Please don't do this, Didier. Please. Hear my voice. You know me better than that. You know I've done nothing wrong. Those men smirking at the sight of my body, they're the ones putting the blame for their sins on me. Please, tell me you at least don't think I did those things. Just don't put me on that cross. If it was Mother who sold me out to the church, then surely you can give me a respectable burial.
The nails and rope for the crucifixion are here. We would have you, O knight, deliver the Lord's judgment unto this vile witch.
Didier, why do you say nothing? Why do you accept the tools this man presents to you? Tools meant to punish me. Tell me, Didier.
Crucifixion! Crucify it! Crucify the witch!
My brother lowered my corpse to the ground and began removing my clothing. And in that very moment, I realized the purpose of hanging someone from a cross. Overwhelmed by hopelessness, tears streamed down my face. Please, anything but that. I'm begging you. Don't expose me to these people. Don't expose my body, Didier. I'm begging you. Don't do it. But of course, my voice had no way of reaching him, and he proceeded to remove my clothing, piece by piece, until I was left fully nude. For a brief moment, an unpleasant silence spread through the crowd. The erratic crackling of their torches was the only sound that could be heard in the square. And then, with a mocking laugh, one man spoke.
Ha! So there it is, the devilish creature.
Don't look at me, please. Look away. Or just get it over with and burn me now. Burn my body, please. One simple thing was all I was missing. I had a frame like a man. I lacked breasts of a woman. My heart was male. I was in love with a woman.
You sold your soul to the devil, and this is what you became. This frightful, reprehensible creature. To dare defile the sacred body God blessed you with.
Was that what people really thought of me? Was there no way to make them understand? Could they not possibly imagine how miserable it was to live in a body that didn't fit the shape of your soul? Was there no way to get through to them, even the slightest bit, that all I wanted was to be what I felt I was? Was that really so heinous a crime? Please, Didier, stop this. Don't humiliate me any further. Please, just let me depart this world in peace. Carry my body away from this place. That's all I ask. And if you can't do that, then at least burn me instead. Didier! Didier! He then placed my body upon the cross, bound my arms together at the wrists with rope, and then drove a nail through my palms.
This is all really hard to voice act well in just one take. It's a lot, man. You'd need to, prepare to do this. Did I read this? Yeah, I think so, but I'll do it again.
And then drove a nail through my palms. I couldn't look away. I tried to close my eyes, but I couldn't. My vision remained perfectly clear, despite the constant stream of tears. When he was finished attaching my body to the cross, he and several other knights lifted it off the ground, planting it in the center of the village square. The villagers showered the knights with their praise and gratitude. Not for lack of trying, I was unable to get away from the cross. My soul was trapped there along with my body. Didier didn't say a word the entire time.
The path here just looks like flames, which is, yeah, fitting.
After a full day hanging there, grotesque blackish splotches began appearing on my lower body. Everyone who saw it grimaced in disgust. The knights, Didier included, had long since taken their leave. leaving my soul behind, curled up at the base of the cross. A constant stream of tears ran down my face. Despite all my prayers, I remained bound to that place, left to rot on the cross with my body. Passers-by threw rocks or spat on me. Children laughed. A mother warned her daughter to always obey God's teachings. By 48 hours, black-feathered birds and maggots had appeared to devour my rotting flesh. I couldn't imagine any less pleasant a sight than my own body decaying in the sunlight, exposed for all to see.
Dude, like, honestly, just imagining this, like, it's so, like, it's almost comically absurd how terrible this is. So, just imagine, coming out of this, you're going to be one of two things. You're going to be a completely broken spirit for the foreseeable future. Or nothing will ever hurt you quite the same ever again, and you'll be an unbelievably strong human being. Like, this is hell. This is hell, and if you can survive hell, that's an interesting person that'll emerge on the other side, to say the least. I don't know if there's much of a point to be made there. It's just this is so visceral. My brain's just going a million miles a minute, man. A group of children assembled in the square not far from the cross, and soon after a competition began to see who could take down the evil witch. Like, I think what I'm trying to say is, if this happened to me, I think, and then I was somehow able to still be alive after reincarnated, like, not to, like, overshare at this point, but I already consider myself a pretty spiritually complete person. Like, I know myself very well, and I'm very comfortable in my own skin. But, like, to experience a hardship this wrought, it's like, what I mean by comical, I think, is it's so bad that, like, it almost doubles back on itself to becoming just another thing that happened to you. You know? I don't know if I'm getting my point across very well, but it's just powerful. This game will do that to you. They gathered all the rocks they could find and started throwing them at my corpse as hard as they could. The stones ripped through my decomposing flesh, exposing bits of bone. Eventually, they settled on a winner, the one who had torn off the most flesh, and went on their way. And when they were gone, the birds flocked in to take their place. The third day and night came and went, and at sunrise on the fourth day, I received a visitor. Watch your step, madam. The crucifix is this way. After everything I had been through, I thought nothing more could possibly affect me. Yeah, that's sort of what I was saying. I had sunk as far down into the abyss as I could go. However, Mother, I knew it was her instantly. She was older and bonier than I remembered. She had bags under her eyes so dark they looked like bruises. Her once lustrous blonde hair had faded almost white, but I would always recognize my own mother. What are you doing here, Mother? Father.
In the 13 years since I had last heard Mother's voice, it had grown raspy and weak. But there were still distinct traces in it of the woman who had raised me, who had stayed at my bedside when I was sick. Though I lacked a physical body, I still felt a deep, piercing chill at the sound of her voice.
Father, this is not my daughter. I did not birth this accursed thing. No. No, I am her victim. For years I suffered at the hands of this witch. She stole my daughter away from me, tormenting me, endlessly tormenting me, trying to ruin me. A demon. You're a demon. Mother. I despise you, you foul, hellish monster.
I loved you.
You took everything from me.
I could never bring myself to hate my birth mother.
I feel nothing but revulsion for you.
I loved you.
An eternity in the fires of hell would be too good for you.
I often disagreed with the things you said and did, but I still remember the feeling of your hand in mine as I lay sick in bed.
I have absolutely no relation to this demon.
I kept writing you letters, kept pretending to be a girl for you, because I didn't want to hurt you.
This is not my daughter.
I couldn't stand doing it. Whenever I sat down to write one, I came out a horrible wreck, even worse off than before. But even so,
send this monster straight to hell!
I didn't want to break you, Mother. I didn't want to push you any further off the edge.
Quickly, set me free of this accursed thing.
But I suppose I still did end up breaking you. Please be at ease, madam. The Lord has heard your prayers. He wants you to cast the demon into the cleansing fires. He wants you to show him that, as you say, you have no relation to this unholy thrall.
Gladly, gladly. I'll gladly send this vile creature to the deepest pits of hell with my own 2 hands.
Her eyes swirling with every hateful emotion imaginable, Mother took the torch from the priest and tossed it into the pile of straw spread around the base of the cross. The flame crackled as it spread upward, consuming my body and filling the square with the putrid stench of burning flesh. Through the cloud of smoke, I could see a faint smile on Mother's lips. Mother, I'm so sorry. You had to give birth to me. When the inferno had devoured everything, and the cross itself came tumbling down, my soul was finally released from that place. Or rather, I suppose it more shattered. The things I saw, the things I was made to watch, were harrowing. Morgana had been right. The anguish that came after knowing happiness was much greater than anything I had felt before. It eroded my spirit, drained me of the willpower to bear the sight of the world after death. But rather than give in to hatred like Morgana had, I despaired of myself. I didn't curse or bear a grudge against anyone. I prayed for my own extinguishment. My soul began to crumble, neither ascending to heaven nor falling to hell, but fading into darkness everlasting. My fingers were the first to go, then my eyes, and then my mouth. All sound vanished into nothingness. My beating heart, and all the emotions that had once taken root within it, scattered like leaves upon the wind. My soul completely, wholly decomposed. I couldn't stand to allow my soul to return to the living world, no matter what it might take residence in. Some length of time later, I began to hear a sound, muffled and indistinct. No longer human in form, I had no ears to speak of, but the sound gradually increased in volume. It was a voice.
Where are you, Michelle? What are you doing? I'm still praying. I'm still wishing for you to appear before me. Forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. I've been praying for so long, I don't even know how long it's been. Before you left, you said you were going to pray too. You said you hoped we could meet again in another life. I'm not misremembering, am I? Michelle, come back to me soon.
As if drawn in by the sound of that voice, bit by bit I began regaining some of what I had lost. But it took an incredibly long time. My body and soul had been ground to dust. I had rejected myself, scattered it into the void. It would take several lifetimes to find and reassemble all those pieces.
Michelle, all I can remember about you is your name, your glassy white skin, your fiery red eyes, and your snow-colored hair. Nothing else.
I had thought my mind, my body, my spirit, and my heart had all been eradicated. But every time I heard that voice, I thought, I must return. Well, thought is perhaps inaccurate. It was not so much a conscious idea as an instinctive force. The voice slowly buried the overwhelming pain I had suffered in both life and death. I began to search for the source of that quiet, constant whisper echoing in the emptiness, chasing after that tiny fleck of light, the one thing in the world that seemed to desire my presence.
Michelle, I'm no longer the girl I once was. I've built a thick cocoon around myself, a cocoon I can't break free of. My own protective shell is devouring me. I'm waiting for you, Michelle. Waiting for you inside my shell. Always waiting. Will you be able to recognize the person I've become? Please, Michelle, get me out of here.
At long last, I found the ray of light I sought. And I had an absolute certainty that if I followed it, I would reach the sound of the voice. I had to find them. I had to set them free. I desperately had to give back to them what they had given me. And that sense of purpose is what set me back into motion. But the void was so expansive, so endlessly deep that reaching the end of the trail of light was no easy task. Struggling to follow it to its source wore my barely held together soul. Struggling to follow it to its source wore my barely held together soul thin until it crumbled apart once more. Again and again I lost myself. I can't account for much of the time. I can't account for much of my time chasing after that light. The gaps in my memory are large and frequent. Nevertheless, after countless cycles of breaking down and reassembling myself, after hundreds of years of wandering, I finally found my way back to that mansion.